We have the power to become the ancestors that our descendants feel proud to claim. We have the power to change the trajectory of the planet and for all of life, all humans, plants, animals, the earth, to really thrive in harmony and wellness. We really have this power to do this right now. But I don't think the way there is to continue forward with this system that has been handed down to us, this system of we need to pick sides and try to win over each other, right? This it's a fight energy. And I don't think that this is the way forward. I mean, if you think about it, we've been doing this for thousands of years in different ways, and it's not working. I actually think that it's making things worse. So, from the shamanic perspective, the way to create the reality that we wish to be part of is to actually become as clean as we can, clean channels, right? And that means doing the work that we need to do to wash away the old disempowered energy, thoughts, beliefs, patterns, habits, actions, and to clear ourselves of the illusions of needing to be in this fight, and clearing ourselves of the anger and the muck that is holding us in this energy of a fight and must win, must dominate. Like, clear it away, clear it away. This is also very interconnected with clearing, cleaning, cleansing traumas in our own experiences, right? Because a lot of times what's happening in the world that's really firing us up and triggering us does have some roots in our own experiences from childhood or other times in life or past lives, if you believe in that. Okay, so that is a really important piece of creating that world that we want to live in, that we feel excited to be part of, that we feel excited to pass down. That's one of the pieces. The other piece, or another piece, I should say, is finding our soul family, our community, our tribe, whatever word you desire, finding our people so that we can come together and share ideas about what is that we envision for the world. This isn't about what do we think we need to do to make ABC happen. It's about zooming up and taking the perspective of ego, detaching from ego and seeing things from a higher perspective, envisioning into, like, what is it that we want? We want everyone to have equal opportunities and access to the education, the housing, the clean, fresh food and water, to safety, to love, to community, to support, to all the opportunities, right? This is what we want. And it's sharing the visions that we have individually and creating a cohesive vision that resonates with each of us so that we can together focus on that vision. And from that place, our actions are going to fall in line. And there's a part of doing this in a way that is sustainable, so it's ongoing, so the community is an ongoing, regularly connecting, sustainable thing in which it's fun to be part of, right? Because, man, we've all got a lot on our plates, and probably the last thing anyone really wants to add is more meetings and things that we need to go to. So how do we make this fun? How do we create this community that is fun and joyful to be part of, that we are connecting from the heart, that we feel really authentically engaged and part of, that is holding this greater vision for what is possible in the world, this vision of changing the trajectory of the planet for the wellness of all of life, for all of life to thrive, so that we can pass this down to our children and our children's children and our descendants and feel really good in the process. Yeah? So there's a saying, a shamanic saying that was popularized by Alberto Villado, and it goes like this: shamans dream the world into being. I think we all have that power. It's about getting really clear, cleaning our channels, clearing away the distractions and the noise, and that's going to be things that we do currently that hold us back from staying focused and feeling our best. It's going to be cleaning, cleansing, transmuting old pain, old trauma, getting clear. And then there's this piece of that community connection and sharing that vision. And I know you guys have heard it before because it's in all kinds of spiritual texts. When a community comes together with this shared intention, shared prayer, vision, desire, and works towards it, it amplifies the energy and the possibilities exponentially. We have such a greater ripple effect when we come together. So this isn't about coming together and my group is fighting with that group over there. That's not it. It's just about coming together and focusing on the shared vision, keeping ourselves as clean as possible so that we can stand very strong, rooted and grounded in our power. We need this more than ever, is to know how to come back to our power if we sway from it. This isn't about energy protection. It's not about shielding ourselves from what is going on out there and constantly cleansing our energy. It's about being so rooted and grounded in your own power that when you radiate it, that stuff cannot get into you, into your field in the first place. That is the place. That is the place of power, that we have the most massive ripple effect. So this is one reason why I am so passionate about shamanic work, because shamanism is all about cleansing, clearing, becoming the clean channel. It is about connecting with powers greater than ourselves so that we can release the old baggage that's holding us back from really doing the best, biggest, boldest work. It is about connecting with all of life, connecting with unseen allies, and it is about dreaming the new world into being. Okay, I shared that was popularized by Alberto Villado, and he received that from his teachers in the Quiro lineage of the people of the Andes Mountains in Peru. I think it's a universal sentiment shared amongst, I would venture to guess, every shamanic culture in the world, because shamanism has been practiced in every culture around the world for tens of thousands of years. So I think that's probably a pillar in all of shamanism. So I want to share a little story about how this work, shamanism, shamanic work, has really changed my life. And then I'll share a couple opportunities that I have coming up in case if this is resonating with you and you would like to join. So you guys probably remember when Roe versus Wade was overturned. It was a really hard, painful, gutting experience for many of us. Not for everyone. Some people were happy. And if that was you, that's fine. But that wasn't me. And that wasn't most of the people that I am in connection with. It was really painful. Really, really painful. And when it happened, I had the wind knocked out of me. I was crying. I was angry. I was feeling so much rage coursing through my veins. And being immersed in the shamanic work, I thought, okay, there's something more here. It's not just that this has happened. There's something deeper here that this is tapping into that I am unconscious of right now. So I took a shamanic journey, and what came up was something that I had worked on several times, actually. It was one of the big issues that I have been presented with in this lifetime that's needed tending to every so often. And it was an abuse situation that I experienced as a child. And it came up again. I was like, here it is again. I thought I was done with you. I thought I did all that healing, but it's here again. And this is what this Roe versus Wade was tapping into for me, is that loss of power and sovereignty in my own body. And my guides in that journey showed me what to do. They said, you need to get out on the land. You need to spread your body on the land and just release, release, release. Release with your voice, release with your movement, release the anger, release the pain, release the invasion of your body that you've been carrying. So I went out and I did that. I went to a county park, and there were people. There were people that probably thought I was crazy. But this is my process at this point. So I've learned to let go of what passerbys might think or say. And I did it. And what came to me through that process was, you need to tell some family members that this is also has impacted in direct or indirect ways. You need to tell what happened. Oh man, that was like, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. For so many reasons, I do not want to. I didn't want to, because there was the sadness and the worry of how it was going to affect them. But I did. I had to tell my mom. I had to tell my grandma. And it was hard. My mom took it hard, and it was painful for her. And I referred her to another shamanic practitioner, because this is something I could not help her through, right? Because I'm going through my process live time. I mean, I think I was to a state that I felt pretty good and grounded, and like I released and healed with it, but still, you know, I couldn't help her through this. And she went to Gwendolyn, to the other shamanic practitioner, and she had her healing with it and came back with this beautiful message that was really healing for her, because the perpetrator had not only harmed me, but had harmed everyone. So it wasn't just about me. The trauma, the pain that she was carrying and experiencing wasn't just about me and my experience. It was also about the collective, the family, the ancestral piece, right? But she came back with this beautiful healing story, this information that was so liberating and so healing for us both. And she shared it with her siblings, and I think she might have shared it with my grandma. And then I had the talk with my grandma. I said, okay, Grandma, I got to tell you something that happened. And it was not easy, but what it did was it opened the door of communication with my grandma that has never been opened before. My grandma was, gosh, she's a tough cookie. She is a really tough cookie. She is a strong woman. She was put through hell. The perpetrator was my grandpa. So she was put through hell. And it opened the door for her to share some things that she had experienced that I don't think she had told anyone. And we had this bond like we'd never had before, because, well, I can't speak from my own experience, but from what I can see, for a woman that has been in a domestic abuse situation for a very long time, walls are built around the heart and around the voice, and what wants to be, what needs to be expressed or spoken or processed or moved or healed is so safely guarded in those walls that it gets stuck. So in sharing, it opened this door for my grandma and I to have this conversation that has brought us really close, actually. And that wasn't the relationship we had before, but it really allowed us to talk, to connect on a deeper level. So through this experience, it has brought a lot of healing to me. It's brought a lot of healing to my mom. I think maybe for my grandma too. It's definitely opened the doors of communication in a way that has been really supportive, I think, mutually. And it's had a ripple effect in our family because, you know, when you have a family with such a strong figure that is so abusive, it breaks everyone in different ways, but it breaks everyone. And I see my family, I see every single person in my family is on a road of progress, of healing. And it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if it weren't for that event. I'm not saying that I'm glad that Roe versus Wade was overturned. I'm not saying I support it. I'm saying that when I took this political event that was really firing me up in such a way that I felt so filled with anger and rage and pain and sorrow and grief. And I sat with it with my guides in my journey, and I said, what do I need to know about this? What is at the root of this? And I worked the process and I followed the guidance. A lot of healing, a lot of magic came from that. And did it erase how I show up to support what I feel is worth supporting with this topic? No, it didn't erase it. It didn't change my mind. I still believe that women should have the right to choose what they do with their bodies. And I'll support that how I can. It hasn't changed how I show up. It just changed me. So that's an example of how integrating shamanic ways and shamanic healing into my life has changed my life and has had a ripple effect. One example of so many. So through that experience, I mean, that has been my process for a very long time. When something is triggering me, I journey on it. I talk to my guides, I get to the root, I follow the direction. Their direction is usually get outside and do this thing. They usually show me some sort of ritual or ceremony to rid myself of the energy and fill back up. And then it's in that ceremony that more information comes. And sometimes the healing is complete, or sometimes there's something else that needs to happen. And it's this continuous weaving of communication between me and my guides, and me and the elements, and the earth, and the water, and the wind, and the rain, and the darkness, and the cold, and the void, and fire. That continuous weaving, continuous conversation that transforms, that transmutes the energy, right? And showing up to this process time and time again, year after year, has made me a cleaner channel to where I can really radiate far more consistently, far more brighter than I could before. It has freed up so much energy in my life so that I can step in to my life mission, my life purpose in a bigger, bolder way, so that I can have a bigger impact in the world that aligns with my spirit and why I am here. So you see how powerful this work can be? That's just one little example. So some opportunities I have coming up. If you are interested in shamanism, I have got Foundations in Shamanism workshop coming up And that is for anyone that wants to learn how to weave shamanism into their life to make these sorts of changes in their life, to improve their life, find more peace, to dissolve anxiety, to rid oneself of depression and worry, and to really find clarity and find the confidence and deeply root with your purpose and take bold steps to align more deeply with your purpose, to connect deeper with your guides, with nature, with the elements and the seasons, right? That basic shamanic workshop is for you if that is of interest. And also, if you want to step into my shamanic practitioner training, which will be starting in 2026 and will be ongoing after that. If you want to step into that Foundations in Shamanism workshop will be a prerequisite, unless if you've taken a similar course with someone else. Let me know. Then you might be able to join the practitioner training without taking the foundations training with me. So that foundational training is good for anyone that wants to deepen into shamanism for their personal purpose, or to support others because you want to become a shamanic practitioner yourself. So those are a couple opportunities I have coming up. And the last thing I'll mention is my Sacred Rhythms Shamanic Immersion. And that happens every season. We move with the cycle of the season, and our work is so that immersion is the distillation of everything that has supported me through my process. Like I was talking about earlier, when that trauma came up for me, I journeyed on it. I took it to the land. I did the ceremony. I had the conversations, and it healed and transformed. So Sacred Rhythm Shamanic Immersion is the distilled practice that I have honed over years through my own healing and releasing and becoming as clean of a channel as I can. It's really powerful, really powerful. It's also really fun. And I'm sure you've heard this before because it's in many spiritual systems, this idea that when we come together in groups with these shared intentions, that the power of the healing and the possibilities and the ripple effect is massive. It's exponential. We have so much bigger ripple effect when we come together in community. So all of these experiences are community-based. And one-on-one work is awesome. I love it. I still offer that too. But what I am finding is that when we come together in these groups, not only is it a lot of fun, not only is it an expedited process to deeply process things in our lives and claim our sovereignty and root deeply in our power, it accelerates healing, growth, expansion. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this sharing. This is a lot to put out there. It's the first time I've spoken so publicly about some of these things. But it was really coming through pretty strong that it's time to share. So thank you for being present, being part of my journey in this way. And if you have any questions about any of the opportunities that I have coming up, let me know. I'd love to hear, about your experience with this sort of work and how it's touched you as well. All right. Sending so much love.